Do you feel like something is changing, but you can't explain what? A subtle restlessness, an awkward silence between people close to you, as if something had shifted, as if some souls had left without saying goodbye. And suddenly, you start to notice. The connections are falling apart, the meetings are emptying out, and the world around you seems to be following a path that no longer belongs to you. But what you're feeling is real. The big screening has begun. Two groups of souls are forming, and each will be led to a completely different destiny. A group is already being taken away, in silence, one by one. The other will be left behind. If you've come this far, it's no accident. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover could explain everything you've been feeling lately. Perhaps you've noticed a strange withdrawal in recent days. People who were once always around have slowly started disappearing. There was no fighting. There was no resentment. They simply fell silent. They distanced themselves as if being pulled by something unseen or uncontrollable. And the most disconcerting part is that no one seems to know how to explain what's happening. Life goes on, but something about it is different. It's as if a silent energy is gathering some presences, dissolving bonds, erasing once strong presences, and leaving only the echo of a void no one can name. These people aren't dying physically, at least not all of them, but they are being removed from an internal place. Their souls are being pulled from cycles that no longer belong to them, and this is happening now, before your eyes. Some are leaving emotionally, others have simply gone silent, and still others are going through processes of rupture so profound that they can't even share what they're experiencing. But they all have something in common. They've already begun to be taken. And this departure isn't to a visible place. It's a vibrational crossing. It's as if they're being pulled to another side of reality, a side that has no map, no road, no logical explanation. You're probably feeling this too, a feeling that everything is slowly emptying. Places that once seemed full now sound hollow. Conversations have lost their spark. Encounters no longer have depth. There's a longing for what hasn't even gone away yet. A weariness of remaining where you no longer fit in. This isn't depression, nor isolation. It's a sign that your soul is feeling the movement of the great sorting that has already begun, because the first ones are already being called, and they don't make noise as they go. They go in silence. They go in a lightness. They go in a disconnection that doesn't hurt. It simply dissolves. Maybe you're among those watching and wondering, what's happening to the world? Or maybe you're the one pulling away, unable to explain why. You feel like something bigger is calling you, but when you try to talk about it with others, it seems like no one understands, because not everyone is hearing the same call. Not everyone is being taken now. Some will still remain. Others will resist until the end. But some, a few, are already leaving, and their silence is the greatest confirmation that something is happening beyond appearances. These departing souls aren't fleeing life. They're simply closing an invisible cycle. They're leaving behind what no longer resonates. They're responding to a call that doesn't involve reason or ego. It's something deeper, something felt in the center of the chest, something you can't choose, you simply recognize. And if you're reading this with your heart racing, a restless intuition, and the feeling that this message was written for you, perhaps it's because you too have already begun to be carried away and haven't realized it yet. The world continues to spin, but behind the visible, two very distinct paths have begun to form, and no one has warned. No sound, no announcement, no sudden change. Everything is happening subtly, yet profoundly. A group of souls is being pulled toward lightness, lucidity, and transcendence. These are souls who have silently ended their cycles with matter as it is. They no longer get lost in pointless arguments, no longer fight for space, no longer react to provocations. These souls need no stage, no justification. They are simply withdrawing, as if they understand they have already accomplished what they had to, and now they can only observe. Meanwhile, another group remains, and not out of punishment, but out of necessity. These are those still trapped in density, in the ego, in the struggle for control, in emotional addictions, in the urge to prove, to possess, to win. These people are still immersed in the gears of the world we know. They repeat old patterns, resist silence, cling to relationships that no longer nourish them. But deep down they sense something changing around them, and it drives them to despair. They feel they're losing something they can't even name, and they are. They're missing the invisible train. They're being left behind because they're not yet ready to leave. Separation isn't due to merit or superiority. It happens through attunement, by vibrational choice, by inner readiness. It's not about right or wrong, but about time. Some have matured internally and have nothing more to learn in this area. Others still need to live a little longer with pain, frustration, and illusion, so that one day they too will be ready for the crossing. It's a compassionate process, though it may seem harsh, because those who stay aren't punished. They just haven't yet awakened to who they are. This invisible rupture has caused pain in many people, even if they don't know where it comes from. Some feel an inexplicable emptiness. Others experience internal conflicts with no apparent cause, and many feel as if time is strange, as if the past is dissolving and the future is a blank field. This isn't confusion, it's transition. When the two groups begin to drift apart, old bonds are broken, and even if the body is in the same place, the soul has already departed. If you're among those observing all this with a restless heart, know that there's a purpose behind every disconnection. There's a reason behind every silence that's arisen, every separation that's cut you off without explanation. Maybe it's not abandonment, maybe it's selection, and deep down your soul already knows this, because even without understanding, you feel it. You feel like you're no longer where you came from. And you feel like you're being taken, even without having packed your bags. There are signs the body gives which the mind doesn't understand, but which the soul immediately recognizes. In recent days, you may have felt a strangeness in the air, a constant sense of displacement, as if you were in a place that no longer belongs to you. You may have woken up with an unexplained anguish, or gone to sleep with a strange peace, as if something were about to happen, but you don't know what. You may also have noticed that your dreams have changed. They are more vivid, more symbolic, more intense. They are messages, and you know this, even if you can't fully decipher them. You may have felt a sudden urge to retreat from everything, from people, from commitments, from conversations, not out of rejection, but out of exhaustion. The world seems too noisy. Voices bother you. The sounds of everyday life have begun to assault you, and you've begun seeking silence as if seeking shelter. This desire doesn't come from boredom nor from escape. It comes from the soul. As it prepares for the crossing, what is shallow begins to hurt. What is false begins to disgust. What is noise becomes a burden. Other signs appear in the body. Unexplained fatigue, heightened sensitivity, a desire to cry over things that don't hurt, but touch. A weariness of always being in the same place, with the same people, in the same situations that seem to never evolve. It's as if your soul is trying to break through an old skin, a body that can no longer contain what you're becoming. And this rupture is subtle, but inevitable. The call doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you're distracted, you might not even hear it. But if you're here, reading this, maybe you've already heard. Maybe your body is trying to tell you. Maybe the sadness you feel isn't depression. It's longing for a place you don't even know yet. Maybe the feeling of being out of your depth is actually the beginning of your return to who you always were. Because those who are being called feel everything more intensely. They can't explain it, but they know they can't go on like this anymore. These symptoms aren't madness. They're confirmation. They're echoes of a sorting process that's already begun, and that's affecting the most sensitive first. If you're experiencing these signs, don't fight them. Don't ignore them. Don't try to fit back in where your soul no longer fits, because perhaps you're among those already chosen to cross over, and all this is just the beginning of your separation. Have you ever noticed how some people simply stop trying? They stop arguing, justifying, explaining themselves. They're still present, but it's as if they no longer belong. They're there, but on a different frequency. They listen, but don't react. They smile, but inside, they're silent. They're those souls who have already begun to say goodbye. But contrary to what many think, it's not a sad farewell. It's a serene one. They no longer fight to be understood. They no longer feel the need to convince anyone. They walk away as if they've understood the cycle has closed, and now all that's left is to withdraw, prepare, accept. These souls no longer fit into shallow conversations, ego-driven competitions, or superficial encounters. They've gone through the pain and returned more whole. They no longer need to prove anything to anyone, and because they've become lighter, they've also begun to become invisible to those still living in density, and no matter how hard they try to reconnect, nothing vibrates the same anymore. It's like trying to listen to a song with the volume turned down. Something in them has changed, and those around them feel it, even without knowing what it is. But there's an important point. They didn't leave in anger. They didn't abandon anyone. They simply understood that it no longer makes sense to persist where there's no more room for expansion. Some still tried. They reached out, left doors open, offered affection, but at some point they realized that their inner calling was louder than any attempt to stay. And so, silently, they began to walk away, not as punishment, but as liberation. And the curious thing is that the world around them doesn't always notice. For many, they're still there, on social media, at meetings, at dinners. But those who look deeper know they've already left inside. They've already broken the invisible ties. They've already set foot on the other side. Because there's something in the way they look, the way they listen, the lack of rush. They no longer run. They no longer shout. They no longer try to be seen. They simply are, with presence, with serenity, with the awareness that their time here is changing. And if you recognize someone like this, maybe you're already observing someone who was chosen, or maybe you're seeing yourself in that mirror, because when the fit no longer happens, and yet there is peace, that's the greatest sign that something much greater has already begun within you, and there's no going back. Those who remain don't initially realize what they've lost. They feel only a vague discomfort, as if something has shifted. They continue living, doing everything the same way, repeating the same routines. But little by little, they begin to sense an unnameable absence. It's as if a part of the landscape has vanished, and no matter how hard they try to distract themselves, something lingers. They look around and realize that the people they once used to talk deeply with are no longer around, that encounters have lost their essence, that gazes are more empty, and then without understanding why they feel alone, even when surrounded by people. This loneliness isn't common. It doesn't stem from a lack of companionship, but from a lack of connection, because those who remain are generally still attached to what they've always been. They're afraid of change. They fear silence. They avoid looking within, and so they can't keep up with those who have already been called. They remain trapped in the same cycles, the same dramas, the same recycled pains, and at the same time, they feel that all of this is starting to tire them out. But they don't know how to get out. They don't yet have the key. They're not yet ready. Many of those who remain will try to fill this void with more noise, more distractions, more activity. They'll try to force new connections, create new bonds, pretend they haven't lost anything. But within them, the absence vibrates. Their soul feels it. Their heart aches without knowing why. And no matter how much they try to convince themselves that everything is okay, deep down, they know something is gone, that someone is gone, that a presence has withdrawn, not from the body, but from the connection. And this, little by little, breaks the spell of things. Over time, some of those who remain will begin to awaken. They will understand that emptiness is a calling, that absence is an invitation, that pain is a push. And then they will begin to question everything, their beliefs, their values, their fears, their haste. And perhaps in this process, they will begin to prepare to leave as well. Because the selection process doesn't condemn anyone. It simply reveals the time of each soul. And those who stay today may be called tomorrow. But until then, those who remain will continue to live with this feeling that the world is changing, and they don't know how to keep up. They will remember those who left with serenity, and perhaps for the first time they will begin to understand why. And when that happens, when the penny drops, the true awakening will begin. Because no one is left forever, but we must accept that not everyone goes together. Forget the idea of an external being deciding for you. The choice doesn't come from above. It doesn't come from gods, gurus, or hidden masters. True judgment is silent and comes from within. It's your own soul that knows if you're ready. It's the soul that senses when something is complete. It's the soul that begins to detach itself from the bonds that hold it to the ground. And the most impressive thing is that this happens without fanfare. While the mind still insists on continuing on keeping everything as it is, the soul has already made its decision. It has already begun to retreat. It has already crossed the line. There are no lists. There are no prizes. There is no punishment. There is only an inner alignment that, when it occurs, initiates the natural separation between what still needs to be experienced and what can already be left behind. That's why sometimes you feel out of place even when surrounded by people. That's why you miss something you never experienced. That's why, in your moments of silence, something inside you cries, not with sadness, but with truth, because your soul already knows it no longer belongs to all that surrounds it. And that hurts, but it also frees. The soul doesn't scream, it just gets tired. Tired of the noise, the struggle, the ego. Tired of trying to fit into routines that no longer make sense. And little by little it begins to withdraw. What was once important becomes a detail. What was once a priority loses its weight. You begin to desire less and feel more. You begin to observe more than you speak. You begin to question everything, not with rebellion but with lucidity. And this lucidity is the beginning of your shift, because when the soul awakens, the body still tries to resist, but no longer has the strength to pretend. Many seek external signs, as if someone will come and tell them, "You have been chosen." But the truth is, this confirmation will never come from outside, because the true calling isn't heard with the ears, it's recognized with the heart. It's subtle, it's intimate, it's accurate, and when it arrives, you can no longer ignore it. You feel it in your chest, you feel it in your body, you feel it in the spaces that once filled you, and now only tire you. And then, the hardest part begins, accepting that you are changing, and that perhaps you will need to go it alone for a while. But this time of solitude isn't punishment, it's transition. It's the crossing between what you were and what you're becoming. And in between, life will test you. It will offer you distractions. It will try to pull you back to what you've already overcome. But if your soul has truly awakened, nothing will be able to hold you back anymore, because the judgment has already been made, and you chose yourself, even without realizing it. It's curious to observe how those who are leaving simply leave, without shouting, without saying goodbye, without announcing. They don't make a sound. They don't demand attention. They don't say, "Look at me, I'm leaving." They simply drift away naturally, like leaves carried by the wind that blows from the invisible. And you only realize later, when you miss them, when you look for them, and can't find them anymore. Not physically nor energetically. It's as if they've been collected, and in a way, they have. Because true departure begins within, and it is always silent. Silence is the disguise of wisdom. Those who understand, remain silent. Those who are ready, retreat. Those who have been called need not convince anyone. That is why these beings who are leaving do not try to bring others with them. They simply accept, because they know that each soul has its own time. They have already learned that one should not force awakening, that one should not break another's shell before its time. So they depart in silence, respecting the slowness of others. And that is love. Their silence isn't contempt, it's respect, it's lightness, it's an awareness that they no longer belong to certain circles, certain places, certain bonds. They hold no grudges, no anger, no pain, because what drives them isn't escape, it's purpose. It's a calling that comes from within, gentle, firm, impossible to ignore. And when that call comes, they don't resist, they don't postpone, they don't try to cling to anything. They simply trust, and they go. This movement isn't perceived by everyone. To many, these people simply seem more distant, quieter, less present. But those who see with their hearts know a crossing is taking place, and those who are moving carry a light in their eyes and a peace in the silence. They are already in another place, even if their bodies are still here. They are already living on another frequency. They are already responding to another voice. And if you miss someone who's still alive but seems already gone, perhaps you're feeling the effects of this sorting. And more than that, perhaps your soul is recognizing their path, because those who watch in pain are often the next to be taken. And the silence that bothers you today may be the same silence that will guide you tomorrow. When someone leaves without explanation, without drama, without a goodbye, the hearts of those left behind are stirred, trying to understand. But the absence of these souls who have already begun to drift away is not a mistake, nor a negligence. It's a message that comes not with words, but with feelings. Because when someone you love leaves you without hurt, without a break, without an argument, what remains in the air is the clearest message of all. I'm leaving, and I can't take you with me. This uncomfortable silence is, in fact, proof that something much bigger is happening than you can see right now. The pain that remains isn't just from longing, it's from not knowing what's happening. And perhaps that's the purpose, to make you look within, to make you question, to make you search. Because as you try to understand why that person is no longer the same, your soul begins to move too. It begins to reflect. It begins to perceive. It begins to ask itself, am I being called too? Because spiritual absence has this power. It disorganizes in order to awaken. And it is in this discomfort that true inner movement is born. These departed souls left traces. They left subtle signs, a different look, a deeper silence, a presence that was once peace, and now has become emptiness. And if you paid attention, you noticed that before the physical absence there was an energetic absence, as if that person were already on another plane, even sitting next to you. This is the true rupture, when the heart no longer connects even though the bodies still intersect. When the energy withdraws, all that remains is the form. The most important thing is to understand that this absence is, in fact, an invitation, a mirror, a call. It's telling you, follow, prepare, observe, because those who have gone have left clues for those yet to come. They're not saying goodbye. They're saying, we'll meet on the other side. But not everyone hears this message. Some simply feel abandoned, others rebel, but those who are ready understand, and they too are silent, not as an escape, but as a response. And if you're missing someone who still breathes, but no longer vibrates alongside you, maybe it's time to accept that that soul has crossed over. Maybe you're feeling the void of a crossing, and maybe, just maybe, it's your turn to choose. Will you keep trying to hold on to what's already gone? Or will you start listening to the call that this absence brought? There's a kind of sensitivity that the adult world, in its rush and excessive reason, has completely forgotten. But children still have it. Animals do too. They live with their senses open, their souls exposed, their instincts free from judgment. That's why they're often the first to perceive what's changing on the invisible plane. Before any word is spoken, before any decision is made, they've already felt it. They've already reacted. They've already stared into space, as if they were seeing something. And they were. Have you ever seen a child cry for no reason, staring blankly at a spot in the room? Have you ever seen an animal become restless, sniffing the void, or barking at the darkness? This isn't coincidence. This is perception. Children and animals are sensitive to the subtlest layers of reality. They sense when a presence departs. They feel when a soul begins to drift away. And often they try to warn us. But adults don't listen. They're too busy explaining everything logically, when what's happening is beyond explanation. Many children have been talking about strange dreams, about lights, about people coming to get them while they sleep. They're not making things up. They're reporting what they feel, what they see, what they experience when the soul expands during sleep. Similarly, animals have been changing their behavior. Some isolate themselves. Others become intensely protective. Others just seem sad. They're sensing the changes. They're noticing who's leaving, and they're trying to warn us. These beings are like antennas. They are constantly capturing frequencies that we, often, can no longer perceive. They mourn for the departed soul, even if the body is still here. They move away from those who are heavy. They approach those who are about to leave. They know. They always have. And therefore they should be listened to more carefully, because in the invisible world their silence speaks louder than 1,000 human words. So the next time you notice a restless child, a strange animal, a silence that seems full, stop, feel, listen. Maybe they're picking up on something you don't yet see. Maybe they're announcing that another soul is being called. Or maybe they're looking at you, as if to say, it's your time, because yes, they know beforehand. And if you let them, they can prepare you for the crossing. Have you ever stopped to think about the number of people who have passed away lately? Maybe someone in your family, a neighbor, an acquaintance, someone young, full of life, who simply passed. And the question always arises, but why? Your mind tries to search for rational explanations. An illness, an accident, chance, but something inside you remains unconvinced. There's a nagging feeling that won't go away, as if deep down your soul knows these departures aren't random, that there's something bigger behind it all, something that can't be measured or explained by the normal parameters of life. The souls leaving now are not being punished. They are being collected. Many of them came with the mission to anchor certain energies for a time, and upon completing this task, they are called back. Others have already gone through such profound cycles of learning that there is no longer any need for them to remain here. They did not die by chance. They were taken with precision, each one at the exact time, at the right moment. And for those who see with the eyes of the Spirit, this wave of deaths is in fact a wave of return, a return home. For those who remain, It's difficult to accept. Physical absence is a cut. Longing is painful. The heart questions. But if you can silence the pain for a moment and listen to what it's trying to show you, perhaps you'll realize that these departures were also signs. Signs that the veil is lifting, that something is being reorganized, that the world is undergoing a kind of spiritual harvest. And some have already been harvested because they flourished first, because they reached the perfect point of maturity, because quite simply, they fulfilled their purpose. Not all souls will depart physically, but all are being touched by this process. Some will leave the material plane, others will be pulled inward toward a new consciousness. But what no one can deny is that we are living in a time of separation, and death, that much feared portal, is just one of the ways the universe has found to seal this transition. For some, it is the end. For others, it is a new beginning. For the souls who depart in peace, it is liberation. And if someone you loved has recently passed away, perhaps that person was one of the first to cross, one of the first to answer the call, one of the first to show the way. The pain of loss doesn't go away overnight, but it can, over time, transform into reverence, in gratitude, in recognition, because deep down the soul that was never ceased to be. It simply changed form and continues, silently, guiding those who still have something to accomplish here. Some people didn't leave, but disappeared. They're alive but distant, present but absent. They didn't say goodbye. They didn't say anything. They simply withdrew, as if they understood the time for speaking has passed. They no longer want to explain their decisions, nor justify their departures. They no longer feel the need to prove their pain or their search. They simply fell silent, and in this silence, there is more presence than in any scream, because those who remain silent in this phase of the world are feeling something that many have not yet realized. These silent souls no longer vibrate with the same conversations. They don't feed on the same distractions. They avoid confrontation, the spotlight, and excess. They prefer seclusion, rest, and contemplation. It's not depression, it's transition. They're organizing their feelings. They're preparing themselves internally. Because when the soul senses something great approaching, the body responds with stillness. Silence becomes sacred, and the noisy outside world becomes deeply disturbing. Many around them don't understand. They think it's coldness, indifference, ingratitude. But those who have remained silent aren't disconnected. They're deeply connected. They're listening to something that can't be shared in words. They're being shaped for something that hasn't yet arrived. And in the meantime, they need to protect themselves from the opinions of others, from interference, from noise. Because this phase requires inner focus. It requires spiritual strength. It requires surrender. And all of this only arises in silence. If you're one of those people who, lately, has felt like disappearing without disappearing, know that this is a calling, not for escape, but for transformation. Your soul is aligning with the group that has already begun to cross over. And because of this, the external no longer nourishes you as it once did. You feel like you have nothing left to say. And that's okay. Silence is often the most honest language between the soul and the universe, and those who truly love you will understand. And if, on the other hand, someone has distanced themselves from you in this way, respect them. Don't force their return. Don't demand their presence. Don't insist on explanations. Perhaps that soul is in a moment that doesn't allow for words. Perhaps they are among those being prepared in silence. And in that case, your understanding can be the greatest gift. Because not everyone who stayed is trapped. Some are simply preparing to fly. It's no wonder you've been feeling what you're feeling. This restlessness in your days, this need for silence, this feeling that the world around you is too small for what's pulsing inside. None of this is delusion. It's preparation. Your soul is being worked on in silence. And as much as your mind still tries to distract itself with daily obligations, there's something deeper happening behind it. It's as if you're receiving invisible instructions while you sleep, as if something inside you is reorganizing everything. Your beliefs, your bonds, your desires, your senses. And perhaps you can't even explain it, but you know you're no longer who you were yesterday. Have you noticed that certain things have lost their flavor? Places that once enchanted you now feel empty. Conversations that once engaged you now tire you. And even as you try to carry on with your routine as normal, there's something inside you that screams silently. A kind of longing for what hasn't yet arrived, an urge to leave everything behind, even without knowing where to go. This is a clear symptom of internal preparation. When the soul is being separated from density, the body begins to react. Time slows down, the weight increases, masks fall, and everything you once tolerated with ease now suffocates you. You feel like crying, even without pain. You feel like disappearing, but not as an escape, as a pause. Your heart seems to know something is coming. You can no longer pretend. You're more sensitive, deeper, more attentive, and even though no one around you understands, you feel it. Because what's happening to you isn't external, it's spiritual. It's a silent preparation, a call that comes through the cracks of time, touching your consciousness in layers you didn't even know existed. Maybe you've tried to ignore it, tried to distract yourself, occupy yourself, numb yourself, but you couldn't, because this process, once it begins, can't be stopped. It's like a portal that's opened within you, and now, you've seen the other side. You've tasted liberation, and even though you're still tied down, you know that sooner or later you'll cross over. You've started letting go. You've started saying goodbye. You've started realizing that certain things can no longer continue. And this clarity, even if painful, is your light. So if you feel like you're being prepared, accept it. Don't fight it. Honor this process with silence, with presence, with truth, because your soul knows the way. And everything that seems to be falling apart now is actually being reorganized so you can experience what has always awaited you on the other side of density. You are not alone. And this calling you feel is real. Perhaps the hardest part of this journey is realizing that not everyone will go with you, that some people you love deeply haven't felt the same calling, that they remain firmly rooted in old structures, trapped in what you've already left behind, and you try to pull them along, try to explain, try to open their eyes, but you can't, and the more you try, the more frustrated you become, because this journey cannot be forced. Every soul has its own time. And understanding this is one of the greatest spiritual lessons there is, respecting another's path, even when it means walking without them. You can love someone and still understand that they won't go with you. You can feel that certain bonds are eternal, but they're just lessons. You can realize that what was meant to be forever is over, and not for lack of love, but for too much evolution. Paths don't always stay together, and that's okay. It hurts, yes, but it hurts more to try to drag someone who isn't ready yet. Because it holds you back, it slows you down, it prevents you from moving forward lightly. There are times when the other person's liberation is also yours. You don't need to fight, nor say a dramatic goodbye. Just walk away with love. Just accept that the other person's soul still needs more time, more falls, more repetitions. And yours doesn't. Yours already understands. It's already gone through it. And that doesn't make you better. It makes you ready. The spiritual journey isn't a competition. It's a dance of cycles. And some dance first, others later. The important thing is not to stop your movement waiting for the other person to start dancing too. The important thing is to keep going, even if alone for a while. And over time, you'll understand that this loneliness isn't punishment. It's maturity. You'll learn to walk more lightly, with less noise, with more truth. You'll meet others along the way, souls who have also crossed paths. You'll form new connections, quieter, deeper, more real, and then everything will make sense. You'll realize you were never alone. You were simply ahead, and that each absence was, in fact, an opening for something more aligned to arrive. Accepting that not everyone will go with you is what allows you to move forward. It's what frees you from the weight of expectations. It's what puts you in the rhythm of the journey. And above all, it's what honors the time of others. Because those who stay today, one day also leave. And down the road your paths may cross again. But now you must go, because your time has come. If after hearing all this, something inside you remains silent, but alive, then you understand. The call doesn't always come in clear words. Sometimes it manifests as a shiver, as absence, like a tear that falls painlessly, simply because something has been touched deep inside, and you don't yet know how to name it. Don't worry about explaining. Don't force understanding. What is happening to you now is intimate. It's yours. And if your soul is ready, it will guide you the rest of the way. The big screening doesn't come with the sound of trumpets. It arrives like this and between the lines of a video, through the questions that remain after the screen goes blank. And if something in you stirred, if you recognized it, if you were moved, just write in the comments, "I'm listening." Anyone who is on the same wavelength will know exactly what this means, and maybe you'll find that you're not as alone on this journey as you thought. And if this content touched something real in you, subscribe to the channel. Here, every word is written for those who listen with their hearts, those who see beyond form, those who are already listening, even in the midst of the noise of the world. Because if you've made it this far, it's because you're already starting to remember